Zig in the Zone with Ralph, Zig, Tycho.
I am back. You are comfortably zoned in Zig in the Zone, the Zig Mobile. How about that? Paulie, you can pronounce, because you've been practicing, our guest name better than I can. Go for it.
That's right. For the third false start today, give it up for Matt Dibiase. There we
All right, Matt.
go. Now we'll just get him on
So
screen.
nice.
There we go.
So nice to have you back. You've been with us, including the audio shows that I used to do maybe 5 times.
Yeah.
And you're a delight.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm taking my winter staycation. Just got my taxes done today. IRS is going to screw me over real good, but that's another thing and all that. I'm also working on the final draft of my baseball book, which will be released sometime between Sunday, March 29th and April 2nd this year. So stay tuned. Patriarchs of the Dugout, baseball's greatest managers, which will answer the question, who are the 50 greatest Major League Baseball managers of all time? And it's the first of its kind to include Negro League managers from 1920 to 1948, rated alongside all other established Major League managers. So it's groundbreaking in that regard. But
Yay!
it will come out
Hey,
during
congratulations.
between Sunday and April 2nd.
It only
I
took us till
knew that.
2026, right? It only took us to 2026 to actually, include everybody in this on this.
Yeah, right now it's the
Right.
150th anniversary of the National League as we know it. It was founded in February 1876, so it's a perfect little anniversary there.
I think you had a pleasurable time doing it. Am I correct?
Oh, it was a challenge. I'll tell you, you just can't be brief about writing about baseball. It's like the Civil War. You can go on forever and ever and ever. And there's so many stories and sub-stories and sub-stories there. It was a question of, just how much you had to leave on the cutting room floor. But I'm going around the final turn, and it's the stretch run. And like I said, between March 29th and April 2nd, that baby's coming out for the whole world to see. And Ralph, my dear guru, you're going to get an autographed copy of that book. And I want to be on the show again in late May so you can interview me about it, okay?
That'd be terrific. I appreciate that very much.
I love you, man.
I was thinking about your work. Do you have anything in there regarding the managers in who they developed as players while they managed the team?
Oh, I talk about the great players. I mean, like the Casey Stengel chapter. I talk about Yogi, Whitey, Mickey, like the Danny Murtaugh chapter. I talk about Clemente. I talk about in the Alston chapter, we talk about Sandy Kay. Oh yeah, we talk about Sandy. All right. Whenever there's a great player, or a great manager with a great player. Oh yeah, like the Fred Clark thing for Pittsburgh. We talk about Honus Wagner, John McGraw. We talk about Christy Mathewson. We talk about them all right. Joe DiMaggio. We talk about the great players and also the great Negro League players like Josh Gibson, Buck Leonard. Yeah, we talk about him. Jackie. We talk about Jackie.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I think we can cut to the chase on some level if I ask you the question, who got the most out of the talent that they were given or helped put together themselves, but who got the most of any manager in your research?
I think it had to be Joe McCarthy, Marsh Joe McCarthy. I mean, the consistency level, the fact that he was able to win 7 pennants in an 8-year time period there, and all those World Series and all those 6 World Series championships within that period there, just the sheer excellence of it. to maintain that level year after year with no let up and all that. I think in terms of getting the last ounce, yeah, it's got to be Joe McCarthy, in my view. Yeah.
How do you compare McCarthy to Casey Stengel and Billy Martin?
Casey, though, the thing was, though, before he went to the Yankees, he had those lean years with the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Boston Bees. And then, unfortunately, those 4 years with the Mets, kind of dropped him off a little bit there. But, of course, he had that when he had the right talent, when he had the horses with the Yankees, those first 5 years were just absolutely glorious. It's still the greatest 5-year period in Major League history when you consider it. I mean, and Casey, of course, was fantastic using every single man on his roster, all 25 men. He always had that one extra pitcher, that one extra batter in reserve for the key situations, and that's why they were able to win those 5 consecutive World Series championships and all that. But thing is, though, in terms of regular season performance, though, McCarthy was always get his teams at a higher level in terms of the winning percentages, whereas Casey, there were times Casey had some close shaves in pennant races, but with McCarthy, there was never, I don't think he ever had a close shave during those great years from 36 to 43. No, he always blew out the opposition in that sense. But the thing about Casey, now with Billy Martin, thing is, though, according to my system, he's not exactly as high up as many people might expect, because the problem with Billy was he never could sustain his presence in any one of his teams. He was always getting fired. So he never had, like Casey and McCarthy, a period of prolonged, consistent excellence, because he might last 1, 2, maybe 3 seasons, and then he would be gone. You would get fired. Even before he met up with Steinbrenner and all that. But his ability to turn teams around was fantastic. But the problem with Billy was, as a manager, he had no prolonged shelf life. And that weighed against him in terms of my 2 of my 3 standards. It deals with, like, the middle standard deals with your best 5 consecutive seasons, where Matt Martin did not do as good as some others, because he just couldn't stay 5 consecutive. He never stayed 5 consecutive with one single team. So that's one little thing that kind of weighs against him in that sense. But Billy's
biggest enemy was Billy.
Yeah. I mean, my opening sentence on Billy Martin goes like this. He said, Billy Martin was a careening car wreck of a man.
Yeah.
Who died over mere feet away from the front entrance to his home. Seriously. He was a careening car wreck.
Well, bringing up car wreck, how he died, tragically. What baseball lost in Billy Martin's demise was the same thing baseball lost when Pete Rose was suspended.
Yeah.
They were both great coaches.
Yeah.
Not just so they didn't have to be a manager to help an organization.
Yeah.
And both were tragic figures in their own way.
Yeah.
How was Pete Rose rated in your estimation?
Oh, the thing is, as a manager, he's not in my top 50 as a manager and all of that. He's kind of down the list, but I do talk about Pete in my Sparky Anderson chapter and all of that. Definitely Pete is discussed when we talk about the Big Red Machine, because I talk about Pete, I talk about Bench, I talk about Joe Morgan, I talk about Tony Perez, the gang of 4 who made the Big Red Machine absolutely possible. They were the heart and soul of that. Yeah.
And don't forget they had the best breeder of the bunch, Ken Griffey.
Yeah. The thing about Billy was that he knew how to get that last ounce of talent out of him, and also he was never too big for his audience and all that. He could talk to the common wheel and communicate to the common wheel, and also even to the lower wheels and all that. He was able to get them to be partisans for his cause and all that. He could get you to be loyal to him. He knew how to deal with people. I mean, in some ways, he was very approachable in some manners and all that. I wish I could have had private time with Billy, just to talk X's and O's with him, just to listen to his insights, because the man could teach. When he was with Oakland, I think that was his greatest teaching performance, when he was with the Oakland A's, turning a team that was absolutely dead ass last, and he got them above the 500 level. And then a year or so later, and then in 81, he actually got them all the way to the LCS and all that. And the only reason why they lost is that they just didn't have any pitching depth and they had no bullpen. But you talk about turning a team around. I mean, that's an incredible accomplishment when he went to Oakland, in my view.
Yeah. He did burn out a starting staff.
Yeah.
1 year with Kingman and
Yeah.
So
Norris,
you know,
it just. But he had no reserves. He had to use his pitchers, and he used them to death. He had no bullpen. He had no reserves pitchers. There was literally no depth. It was literally a thin green line, Kelly green line, with the Oakland A's when Billy Martin was there. Seriously, yeah.
Well, in conclusion about Billy, he could not communicate historically with the brass wherever he played and or managed.
Yeah, I know. But the thing was, that was Billy's whole nature. Billy was by nature confrontational. What is it Mickey Mantle said? He said he could hear you giving him the he could hear you giving him the finger and all that.
Do you get into Weaver and Palmer and how they interacted?
Yes. Oh, you better believe we talk about the relationship between the Earl of Baltimore and Jim Palmer. Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, yes, absolutely, positively. Yes, yes. Guaranteed, folks. So remember, between March 29th.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, I mean, we talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. I understand now.
Okay.
Tell me something.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a secret that I won't be giving away, but if you can guess it, let me know on the podcast. Off the subject, tell me a little bit, Matthew, about the relationship that Palmer had, who was a great pitcher, had with Weaver.
It was very tempestuous. It was kind of like Mike Stivic and Archie Bunker in many ways, but both of them pushed each other's buttons. It was a relationship built on confrontation. Palmer is a man of very strong opinions, and Weaver, of course, Earl Weaver was Earl Weaver. I mean, an absolute genius, who again, like Casey Stengel, used every single man jack on his roster to the utmost fullest. Always had that extra pitcher and that extra pinch hitter all ready, set and ready to go. Palmer always thought that Weaver didn't know anything about pitching. But what Weaver did was he always tried to he agitated Palmer. He wanted to get Palmer angry. He wanted Palmer to pitch with attitude. In other words, stop thinking out there. Just attack the batter. Get this guy out here. Yeah, and he would push the buttons, and Palmer said, "Oh, I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him that I know more about pitching than he does." And he would get the guys out, which is of course what Weaver wanted in the first place. So that's how he did it. He wanted to exacerbate the tensions. And like Casey Stengel, he didn't mind if you called him an SOB to his face. Because he knew I don't care if you call me an SOB to my face. All I want you to do is go out there and produce. And Palmer was able to produce. And if it hadn't been for those 2 lost seasons in 67 and 68, when he had that bad arm, he would have made 300 wins easily, in my view. And that's what cost him, in terms of that. He lost those 2 years in 67 and 68 due to the sore arm and all that. But by 69, he got his arm back again. And then he became, Earl Weaver's money pitcher.
Okay. Hey, in your research, who did you really fall in love with? Not literally, but as a manager that we might not know about. Who was an overachiever? Was it Hutchinson or or Danny Murtaugh, Al Lopez? Who is the guy in your mind that you most were simpatico with?
I mean, Joe Torre is incredible. What they all said about Joe Torre was true. I mean, he understood people. He really did. He understood people, and he was able in a free agency era dealing with the egos and the salaries and all that, and also protecting his players from Steinbrenner. He succeeded where Billy Martin failed in that regard, and that's why he was able. This is still an incredible feat in the free agency era to do a three-peat during the free agency era. That's incredible, and 4 World Series wins in a 6-year time period. Now, when this new season begins, Dave Roberts is going to try for the three-peat and all that. That's when he's going to strive to equal and all that. I mean, Torrey was someone you could fall in love with. Oh, some others. I mean, Dave Roberts of the Dodgers. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised where I rate him when they read my book there. I know, I mean, our mutual friend, Fred Wallen, has always been skeptical about Dave Roberts, but watching him perform these last 2 seasons, you got to give Roberts his due and all that. Guiding the Dodgers to consecutive World Series champions, because he did something that Walter Wilson couldn't do, that Tommy Lasorda couldn't do. Win back-to-back World Series titles. That never happened before in Dodgers history. And the fact that he did it, the fact that he's going to be hopefully this season become the first National League manager to three-peat as a World Series champion, that's never happened before. No National League manager has ever three-peated in terms of World Series title. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off because I think you're right at the end, and I want to kind of add a follow-up question to this. Is that being both of us being writers, or all three of us being writers, in the course of writing this book, was there a turnoff? Was there an exit that you like? Oh my gosh, I see my next new project because this in itself that I discovered is a book.
Not really.
Not on this one.
No, because I don't know if I'll be going back to because later this year I come out with my pro basketball book, and then after that I want to write about college basketball. I don't know when I'll be able to go back to Major League Baseball again, and if I do write another baseball book, it'll be like probably the 50 greatest Major League Baseball general managers of all time.
Gotcha.
I might do something like that.
Premise. That's a great premise.
Yeah. I mean, who was truly the greatest? Was it Branch Rickey? Was it George Weiss? Was it Bob Howsam of the Reds? Ed Barrow of the Yankees? I mean, that'd be an interesting question. Connie Mack. I mean, who was the greatest GM in baseball history? Friedman of the Dodgers? Hey.
Isn't there a great debate there in itself? Because everybody, like, the first thing I was thinking was Branch Rickey, but then with every name that you layered on top of it, they've all contributed to the game in so many ways that you have to recognize, you have to talk about that accomplishments or those accomplishments.
Don't forget Charles O. Finley too, because remember, he wasn't just the owner, he was the GM too, and all that. I mean, that's a surprise. I mean, how great Charlie O was and all that. I'll tell you one thing about Charles O.
From
Finley.
A marketing standpoint, he was crazy, right?
But here's another thing. When the amateur draft was introduced in Major League Baseball, was it 65, 66, Finley instantly seized upon it. And that's where you get the revival of the A's. He was able to draft Reggie, Bando, Catfish Hunter, all the greats who made that A's dynasty from 70, 71 to 75 possible. I mean, he ruthlessly exploited that amateur draft brilliantly.
Yeah, the swinging A's.
Swinging A's.
Yeah.
My favorite from that year, those years, Campy Campaneris.
Him too, Campy. Hey, Joe Rudy, and don't laugh. Dick Williams is featured in the book, in the manager's book. Yeah, well, there's a thing on Dick. Yeah, we talk about that. The 72 series. I mean, talk about ringing the changes. That guy pushed every button, used every leverage. That was literally literally pulling the strings like the puppet master that he was, just like Casey. I mean, it was a glorious performance by Dick Williams in 1972, in my view.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Casey, you know what he doesn't get enough credit for?
Yeah.
he introduced the instructional league.
Yeah.
And Whitey Herzog is another guy
Yeah, he's in the
that
book. Yeah, Whitey. Yeah.
he came out of Casey's system,
Yeah.
um, and continued that instructional league. Tell
Mhm.
me a little bit about Whitey Herzog.
What the problem with Whitey Herzog was he never had the same playoff luck that Casey Stengel had. He won those 3 consecutive divisional titles with the Royals from 76 to 78, but he couldn't win the pennant. That's why Whitey, I'm not going to give away his precise position, but he doesn't rank as high as people might expect him to be because that failure to execute in the postseason. He had those 2 World Series losses in 85 and 87, and both times his teams had World Series lead, and yet they allowed the other teams to come back, the Royals in 85 and the Twins in 87. That, too, was a factor against him. If he had won both of those World Series, Whitey's rating would have gone up and all of that. That kind of told against him. And yet Whitey, like Casey Stengel, used every single man on his roster, got the most out of them. He was very good with his pitchers. And he would come up with a distinct cast of characters. He would rebuild. I mean, there was a difference in his teams, like 82 to 85 to 87. Like Casey, he was not afraid to use youngsters in clutch situations. He let them know, I have faith in you. I'm giving you the ball. Go out there and win for me. And more often than not, they would win, especially in the regular season. Though in the postseason, sometimes it would be a little bit different and all that. That was the problem with Whitey. He didn't have the postseason luck. And that's kind of told against him, but he's definitely in the book. Definitely. Yeah.
Good. Hey, let's take a little break a little bit, give you a chance to grab some water or refreshment and do some business. Paulie, can you help us along those lines?
Yes, I can, sir. I'm going to mute your guys' mic. I'm going to go over to my camera in just a second here as soon as I can get my stuff together. Yeah, I have such a bad joke. I'll tell you guys during the break because it's that bad. Oh, no, it's hacky. It's so hacky. I can't even tell you. I'm going to do what we do best, which is hawk our wares. What do I mean? Ralph says we're lawyered up. I think it's a peace of mind. Either way, please patronize our sponsors. And hey, roll those commercials, folks. I think that's it. We'll go to commercial one.
Whether it's criminal defense, estate planning, or civil litigation, the answer is the law offices of Andrew Doja. Call us today at 510-865-1600 or find us on the web at dojalaw.com.
For tenant and landlord disputes, there's no other than the law office of Jeff Canberra. Call now 1-510-865-7369 and don't forget to tell them Zig sent you.
All right. And as you guys know, we want you to like, subscribe, follow us on all platforms. That's right. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Twitch. Please go like, subscribe, and ring that little bell. That's right. Ring my bell, and you'll know exactly when another episode drops into your box. Wait, that didn't sound right. And then now, we won't even go there. All right. And now Ziggy's favorite.
Again.
Yeah, have to go there again. Now, Ziggy, what do you say?
Well, I say get off the subject of what drops where and wrap up some new or lightly used books, children's books, and take them to Head Start. The Fuhrer, who is now president, is cutting back on funding for everything that matters. So help them. And you can help kids by helping develop their passion. And that's what the Head Start program does. It gets kids reading. And we haven't talked about this. Warm winter clothes. You could donate warm winter clothes anywhere your Head Start program is. So help the world. That's all I can ask you.
That's it. Head Start programs help children get ready to succeed in school and in life. Early learning and development, health and wellness, family well-being, and family engagement. It all starts with reading a book. So please give those lightly loved used books or new books to your local Head Start program. And we're back. Boom.
Beautiful.
All right. It's like we're professionals almost.
Almost.
But we are back.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
That'll
we are
do
back with Dibiase. Matt, we are back with you. So how long did it take you to complete this book, buddy?
Well, I began working on it as soon as my pro football book came out in September 2022. At one time, the first draft in the manuscript was like 500. It was like 590 pages. I imagine it took me months to trim it down. Now it's 430 pages, and I'm on my 10th draft now. I mean, every day I've been working on this baby. Just writing, revising, editing, adding, subtracting, updating. Because I had some active managers that are featured in the book, not just Dave Roberts, but 2 other active managers and all of that. Like Francona of Cincinnati now, and Snicker of Atlanta, who's no longer manager. He just retired and all of that, but they're definitely featured in the book and all of that. Just revive because I needed to rate the results, of the season and all of that, especially with the Dodgers. It's for almost 3.5 years, literally, when you think about it, 3.5 years of solid work.
Is it kind of like sending your kid off to college at this point? You just hope they do good and they don't attend too many wild parties and that they get read by a lot of people, I guess, in this case.
I submitted to the pile. I mean, it's like the Civil War. There's so many volumes out there, but at least my book is the first to rate and rank Negro League managers alongside all right. other conventional managers, because that hasn't happened yet, because it only was like 2 years ago when Major League Baseball officially accepted Negro League stats from 1920 to 1948 in the official canon of Major League stats. So I had to literally revise and update my manuscript to reflect that, so I could add Negro League managers, because there are 6 who are featured in the book of my top 50. 6.
Now, can I recommend something?
Okay.
I would recommend going and making or adding to the current Wikipedia page, or adding a Wikipedia page stating that fact.
I ought to create my own personal Wikipedia page. I ought to do that, but that's what my book does. It's literally
even if you go to the current, because there's always a Wikipedia page for everything. I'm guessing there's one of the what did you say, the 50 top or the 25 top? You should be able to. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go finish.
Well, what I was going to say is that there should already be a wiki page that represents that, but it will not have those people included. You should say my book does include it and cite your book.
Well, at least there's not a Wikipedia page using my system. There may be things using very like wins or losses or championships and all that, but not the way they're using my system.
No, not at all. Not at all. But you're the first one to ever compare these managers, black and white, side by side. So you should represent that in a forum that everybody reads. If somebody's reading a wiki page and realizes, oh yeah, these are the 25 best managers of all time. Oh wait, they didn't even consider the black man. Hold on.
Yeah.
And so then they would have to go back and go, how has anybody ever? Oh yeah, look, there's a book out right now, and they would cite your book, and it would have a link going back to Amazon, and bestseller. Next year we would be talking to a New York bestseller.
Yeah, maybe I want to give it a try once the book comes out. But but I was a challenge trying to figure out how to calculate the Negro League managers, because they had their leagues, but also they would play those extra exhibitions. So what I did was I only counted the league games. I didn't count the extra exhibitions against white squads or something like that. Only the official Negro League games, whether it's like the original Negro National League or the Negro National League 2 or the Negro American League or the East-West League or whatever. I mean, the ones that were counted, between 1920 and 1948. Those are the ones I would do the calculations for, and then work up the numbers and all that.
Got you.
Yeah. Off
Yeah.
the subject a little bit, what's ironic? Ironic, when Jackie came into the league in 1947, it resulted in the loss of two major black industries. One was that Negro League went downhill after that,
Yep.
and black newspapers
Yep.
suffered as a result.
Yeah.
So, good things in every change and bad things in every change.
Yeah. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
tragedy of all. I mean, you had some great players in the Negro Leagues, and I talk about them. Josh Gibson, Buck Leonard, Satchel Paige, Oscar Charleston, Rube Foster. I mean, some really great, some really great players, outstanding players there. Just they literally they altered the game, and the pretty was they weren't allowed to play in old Major League Baseball. And you could talk about the what if scenarios. If they had been allowed, baseball history could have. I mean, imagine if the Homestead Grays, who were playing in Washington's Griffith Park, what would have happened if Clark Griffin had the wisdom to sign Josh Gibson and Buck Leonard and the rest of those guys? He could have had an instant dynasty on his hands. Those Senators probably could have stayed in Washington, D.C. and competed with the Yankees for the American League pennant. But no, simple racial prejudice. And thing was, the whole country lost, baseball lost, and the whole country lost. I mean, that's the tragedy of it all when you think about the color bar from 1887 to 1946, 60 tragic years, literally.
Yeah. We've had some tragic years since.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, Matthew, you were laid off for a while as a result of Trump's craziness. How do you think of him? Is he going down the tubes, or is he going to survive?
Well, I lost 43 days due to this shutdown, but I'm back in circulation. I lost 4 days just a few, like last week and all that, but this time I'm good for the end of fiscal year. The thing is, this is the year of decision. I think this is going to be one of the most momentous year in American history. Either we celebrate 250 years of freedom and independence, or by July 4th of this year, it's literally day one of the Fourth Reich, with all that is all the horrors and future calamities that is entailed here. And in many ways, his back is being pressed to the wall with the Epstein disclosures and various other things. The fact that the economy has not recovered due to his bloody tariffs and all of that. That basically this country is
his dementia / Alzheimer's disease. What's going to take him down? A break to Paulie. What do you think?
It's always seems that way. We discuss this every week, right? And so
Right, absolutely.
Wow.
The
Here
people
we
have
are.
to mobilize. We've got to mobilize.
Well, okay, so
Minnesota, yeah.
I go ahead, Matt, but I think you're right. I think everyone needs to do their part. How do we really do it? It comes down to November and how we show up, where we show up, and the numbers we show up in. So it really comes down to that. But we all have to do our part.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week. I was talking about how the mainstream media, it doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right, has been neutered. I think I used a term that I heard Don Lemon use. It's been neutered because of all these slap lawsuits that Trump has laid out there. Who owns these networks and these conglomerates? They're steering our country into a way of socialized media. We're going to be Russia. We're going to be China at some point if he controls our media and you could see him starting to move his chess pieces. And
Yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah.
So I think we all need to do our part. So I think independent media, I think what we're doing today, speaking truth to power, I think remaining calm in the direct face of what's happening in our streets, like Minneapolis and stuff like that. We got to really, the way we protest has to be done peacefully, but it has to be done loudly.
And we've got to expose things because I
Right.
mean, like, don't laugh. They're building. I'm seeing things now. They're building ICE concentration camps throughout the country. They're commandeering abandoned shopping malls, abandoned camps, and they're building these holding pens. It's not just for deportees. It could be for political prisoners. It could be
Right.
us.
Yeah.
It could be any one of us. I mean, the murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, that could have been any single one of us. We could have been trapped in those cars or on the street like that, and we could have caught those bullets. Any one of us, and that's the
Hey,
same.
listen, I made a Facebook posting that my quote green room today must remain anonymous, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
ICE agents have been seen and regularly been reported in Alameda, California.
Jeez.
So I didn't want to I wanted to not risk it this morning and not be out there having any sort of interaction
Yeah.
with these people won't
Yeah.
serve me.
Yeah, it's the same
So-
with me. Ever since the murders of Renee Good and Preddy, if I see like a police barricade or a roadblock up ahead of me, or if I see anyone in a Kevlar helmet, I'm going to hang a U. I'm going to do my best to escape and evade, hang a U. If I have to walk 10 blocks to get where I need to be, I'll walk those 10 blocks just to have to avoid those people if possible. I mean,
I treat them like a DUI checkpoint after you've been drinking. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, I
and-
mean, any one of us could have been in that car when Renee Good caught it right in the face like that. Any one of us.
Oh, she did nothing wrong whatsoever.
I know.
She was steering that car away from those fuckers,
Yeah,
and they shot her 3 times in the
Yeah.
face.
I know.
That's a mother.
No first aid. They just left her there to bleed out and die. They would not let anyone to render the first aid at all. I mean, talk about
No, because that would leave another person to wage a lawsuit or have another story against them or whatever.
Yeah.
And so here's the other thing is, if we are really looking at ICE being dispatched out to ballot and voting and poll places, we're in trouble, guys. I mean,
I know.
literally, we will be looking
at
at a civil war. People will be packing.
Here's another thing. It's not just ballot blocks, as Paul and Ralph. It's also eradicating democratic governors, because if you're going to have a dictatorship, you cannot have democratic elected governors or state legislatures in a dictatorship. You have to eradicate all forms of state government. It's like Hitler. In the first 100 days of his regime, he immediately eradicated the provincial governments in Germany there, and he replaced them with his Gauleiters, who were basically little dictators who answer only to Hitler, and they were the true backbone of the Nazi government there. He needed his Gauleiters to apply Nazi rule there, and I suspect the same will be Trump, eradicating all Democratic governors, at least starting off with the Democratic governors, get rid of their state legislatures, and then basically appointing Trumpite, Nazi Gauleiters to put their jackboots on, Democratic states.
Well, even that's on a smaller version of it. That's what his cabinet is.
Yeah, but
they're all billionaires or special interest people that have a dog in the race, and the dog's Trump.
But to have a dictatorship, Paul and Ralph, you cannot have democratically elected state or county or local governments. It's all power concentrated at the top, then applying that absolute power all the way down to the local municipal level, like Hitler did, like Mao did, like Stalin did.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, on a positive note, the dementia and or Alzheimer's disease that the man is going through now will take care of our problems
Yeah.
on some level. But there will never be another Trump in our political system. But he's got minions that are fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you see it everywhere. I mean, it's like they literally believe he's Christ. He is their Christ in that sense. You know, he's a killer Christ, a murdering Christ in that sense, a false Christ in that sense. And that's the scary part.
He's
They
killing you
worship
for his sins. He's killing you for his sins.
precisely. Yeah. Here's the thing I want to propose. Let's say through the grace of Almighty God, Trump decides to vapor lock. He suffers the big one, the heart attack or the stroke, and he's laid out. Either he's dead or he's in a serious coma. Now you would think, okay, invoke the 25th Amendment and put Vance in his place, but what would happen if Miller and Hegseth decided no? Because if they realize if Trump stops being president, they could lose their power, their very considerable power. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw an internal civil war between Miller and Hegseth and the other Trumpites versus Vance's people, because Vance is no saint himself. He's just as insidious. It wouldn't surprise me if you saw an internal civil war as to who really is running this government there, like an internal coup d'etat. It wouldn't surprise me.
And of course, the whole time
Yeah.
we've had our pants down as a country.
Yeah.
We've literally been showing our ass, and I don't mean just in an embarrassing kind of way. I mean in a national security kind of way.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been showing that we've had the monkeys running the asylum, and the monkeys running the asylum. Go ahead.
You know what the tragedy is, Paul? It's been, last September was the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, when America was at absolute peak. We had the greatest army, the greatest navy, and the greatest air force, and we alone had the atomic bomb. And 80 years later, we have literally become the fascist governments that we destroyed 80 years ago. And we're basically we've literally done it to ourselves. It's not well, you could talk about Putin's Russia, they're contributing to it. But literally, we're literally being toppled from our plinth as the greatest nation in the world. I mean, 80 years. And it's strictly from within, too. Total, like Lincoln said, totally undermined from within. And it's unbelievable to see. I mean, but yet it's happening right before our eyes and all that.
Right.
I might remind that we're a country founded by slave owners and imperialists.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that long ago,
mm-hmm.
Under 300 years.
Yeah.
So we really shouldn't be surprised that there's an underlying mindset in this country that supports Trump.
Yeah.
And it isn't so, we shouldn't be shocked, but we should be terribly disappointed. When I was a kid growing up in the 50s, we'd pledge allegiance to the wall, but the words were there every day. And you'd hear, the Constitution, how important the amendments in this. That's being swept under the rug today.
Yeah. That's why. Go ahead. Go finish up.
He's just ruined our lifestyle.
Yeah.
Our mindset as a country. And it brings tears to my eyes, really.
I know. If we survive this, if we are hopefully through whatever, I know you're an atheist, Ralph, through either the grace of God or the.
No, I'm an agnostic.
Yeah.
But it's only because if I call myself an atheist, it closes off the world to me.
Okay.
By the way, and I know who my God is. I'm not agnostic. I know who my God is. My God is
George
Carlin.
Thank you.
George Carlin. I pray to him every night.
Well, let's say we can overcome Trump. I think if there's hopefully there's the next Democratic administration. I think what you need is serious constitutional reform. I think you need, it's kind of like what FDR did in 32. We talked about this last time we were on the show. I think you really got to overhaul a lot of things. It's kind of like France in the Fourth Republic transitioning from the weak Fourth Republic to de Gaulle's Fifth Republic. That was major constitutional reform. In a sense, I think that's what we need here is literally a new constitution, as it were. Literally, in other words, just a total
And
revamp.
ex altar boy.
What you say, Ron?
And the next altar boy.
I
You
know.
said
I know.
altar.
I know. But the thing is, I think you need serious constitution, at least Supreme Court reform, something like that. Because I mean, I'm not. They talk about maybe what will the Supreme Court rule with these Trump's things with the ballot box and all that. Yeah, the Constitution says it's up to the states, but the fact that they gave him immunity, to my mind, they crossed the Rubicon. And they sold their souls. It wouldn't surprise me, like when they gave him immunity, manufacture a justification of him nationalizing elections out of whole cloth like they did with immunity. So I'm not very faithful in the Supreme Court right now, to say the least.
Neither am I. But you know what? When the Dems take over, they will increase the number of members of the Supreme Court. And that will make things better.
Yeah, I think the proposal was make it 13 because it's tied to proportion. Because one of the reasons why it was 9, which was fixed and was at 1869, because there were only 45 states in the union. You need to make it proportional. So that's why the number right now is banded out as is 13 to make it truly proportional. In fact, there's also 13 circuit courts and all that. But I think you need a massive change. I think you need a total radical overhaul. That's why I think, like I said 6 months ago, I think we need to get radical because conventional liberalism isn't working against Trumpism. I think we need to we need to think outside the box. I think we need to be more unorthodox. We got to take it to the streets. We got to be more radical. We got to be more aggressive about it. Basically fight a greater ideological war. I think we got to be more ideological about this. I think we got to tap into.
I'm not recommending this, but I'm surprised that there wasn't one ICE agent killed or injured in any of this in Minnesota. I don't want that to happen, but it surprises me. Speaking of our taking control again, that people don't just go, hey, fuck this. They're killing our neighborhood.
No. And I'm telling you, inevitably, if they keep dispatching ICE to cities such as that and conducting themselves as they are, I'm telling you, even I told you, I've said it on multiple shows. They're not taking me silently, even if I'm not armed.
Right.
Because once they have you in their possession, you're screwed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say what I have, but I will not go gently.
Right.
I've got my own little measures, where I am. I've got my own little measures. I'll say no more, but I don't want to end up in a concentration camp. I'd rather die fighting than end up.
Well, that's what I mean. And everybody in this country is thinking that way, or at least everybody on the left is thinking that way.
Yeah, I don't want to die in a concentration camp, and I will not go like sheep into a gas chamber.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Hey, let me end this thing on a positive note in talking about George Carlin, who you mentioned, Paulie.
Yes,
he is both of our heroes. Yeah. Unbelievable. It's how many years has it been? 11 years, something like that.
Yeah.
If you look at reels, if you look at tapes, what he's said back then, it all comes true. Yeah. This guy is our Nostradamus. And his attitude was at the end, he's just going to look back and not take it personally and watch the freak show.
Right.
And there was something about that back then when he said it, those things, I thought it was very negative. I couldn't believe you wake up today. It's not negative. It's pragmatic.
Yeah.
And,
Prescient.
Very insightful. He was, you know what he
Prescient.
was? You know what he was? He was disappointed in all of us.
Yeah.
right.
Himself included, which is
Yeah.
scary because he included himself on mankind, and I think he looked at it as a whole and said, "Wow, not only have we let down Mother Earth, which was where he kind of started, but then he said we're letting each other down."
Yeah. I mean, Hunter S. Thompson was the same way. That's why he committed suicide, in the early 2000s. I think it's been over 20 years since we lost Hunter S. Thompson and all that. Same deal. I mean, he was just the way it was all disintegrating before his eyes. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he took his own life and like that. Hunter S. Thompson.
Gonzo journalism. Gonzo
Yeah.
journalism.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, man. I love that intro, man. One of my favorite intros. Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. So even of a more obscure film, Where the Buffalo Roam with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Or
That's an
there's
excellent
another
one.
one. There's another one. The Rum Diary with Johnny Depp.
Oh, geez. Wow. Yeah. Well, he loves,
go dip your toe into the big pool of Hunter S. Thompson. A little bit, guys.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we
And
need more people that are outspoken, have an opinion, and have a love for mankind.
Yeah, since we don't have the Washington Post anymore, we need to speak out. That's what we got to do.
Right.
We got to speak out and bear witness. Just keep bearing witness, because the only way to assert the right to speech is to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
And we have to
I think it's our responsibility on these small platforms to do just that if we can. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ziggy.
Go, Ralph.
we have to understand not to negate people who want to change their consciousness, because we all need to change our consciousness in some way.
Yeah.
And drugs should be legalized and regulated, and we need peace.
Yeah. Amen. We need peace. Like Big Bunny said, man, love, man. Or even Clemente, in the 1971 series. Because I put a Facebook posting that basically what Big Bunny did on Super Sunday was what Clemente did in 71 when he spoke Spanish to his family. After Game 7 of the series, man. It's literally the NFL equivalent of Clemente speaking Spanish. Another transcendental moment.
Right.
Absolutely.
And again, I'll educate the American people. Puerto Rico is part of the Americas. Is part of America.
That's right. Yep.
Just want to let you know. If I hear another person say, "Couldn't they find someone American?" They did. And then the other side of the argument, what about all the other people that weren't Americans that have been there, like Paul McCartney and yada yada yada.
Yeah, U2 and Rihanna, that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we're okay. Figure it out.
So
the funniest thing I saw was, out of all this stuff, after that all washed out Sunday, the funniest thing I saw is that one, Trump had a big Super Bowl party at Mar-a-Lago. What were they watching? Bad Bunny. They weren't even watching the Kid Rock show. So then I went, because I'm a comedian and I consider myself kind of a journalist, a faux journalist. And so I had to at least go watch some of the Kid Rock stuff. They had a pre-audio track of him singing his main song, and he was off lip syncing so bad that you would hear the lyric being sung, and then he would be dancing and singing when it's not going. And it was so off that even if you didn't know the song, because you could tell he was like da 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 da, and then stopping and then da 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 da, and it was totally off sync. It's like he didn't even have earbuds in. It's like he wasn't even trying to sing to a song, or whatever he was listening to was at the wrong pace, or it was fucked up.
Well, that's not his fault.
When Green Day was singing that anti-Trump stuff, did they bleep out something? Because I think he was supposed to do some anti-Trump lyrics, but I think they bleeped it out. because I didn't hear it.
Oh, you mean Bad Bunny?
No, Green Day, the pre-game thing. They were singing some songs and they were doing some anti-Trump lyrics, but I didn't hear those anti-Trump lyrics. I mean, I think they bleeped them out a couple of times. I wonder if that's what they were doing, bleeping out the anti-Trump lyrics.
I have to go back because I know we were watching the pregame show in the house, but I was doing stuff, and I could hear. I kept walking by the TV, and we had the sound on, and But no, I'll have to go back and look at that too.
Yeah.
But no, so we have to keep doing. We have to be visible. We have to speak our mind. We can't go into the darkness, not kicking and screaming. I'll tell you.
And
that.
if we overcome this, the perpetrators must be brought to justice. There's got to be trials. I say Nuremberg trials, for not just for Trump, but also the cabinet people: Hegseth, RFK Jr., Noam, Bongino, the whole lot of them, like they did in Nuremberg. Just cover each cabinet, all their crimes there, a comprehensive thing. That's what we got to do. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then, man, I tell you, it's been crazy. I'm glad to have friends. I'm glad to have friends in the life raft like you guys.
Yeah. But we're all in a desperate fight for survival. What is it Tom Laughlin, as Billy Jack said in that movie, Billy Jack, he said, when lawmen break the law, then there is no law, just a desperate fight for survival. And that's what we're in right now, a desperate fight for survival.
There you go. And I know that Ralph's mic is just starting to go wonky, but you don't have to reset because I think we're that close. We're almost at the top of the hour. I want to thank Matt Dibiase for joining us once again. And then where and when can we see this beautiful book of yours?
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, between Sunday, March 29th of this year and April 2nd of this year, the book will come out, okay? I'll hit that button and it'll be uploaded into Amazon and it'll be available online for the whole world to see. Patriarchs of the Dugout, Baseball's Greatest Managers by Matthew Dibiase. Thank you.
All right. And do you have a website? You should.
No, but if you go type in my name at Amazon, you'll see all of my works, okay? Matthew Dibiase, MattheDibiase, and there I am.
Just like it is on your screen. And over to Ziggy. Ziggy, what do you got for us? Or wait, let me plug. Hold on, let me plug, because that way you can end the show. Hey, that makes sense. All right. My name is Paul Brumbach. Please follow me at everything right here with my name on all social media. Also, I am the owner and proprietor of Edge Studios Online. We're here to help you make your dream, it could even be a wet dream, a reality. So please reach out to us at edgestudiosonline@gmail.com. That's edgestudiosonline@gmail.com. If you want to do a podcast like this, you could do it from your own studio. We can help you out. We're in San Francisco, but you could be anywhere around the globe and we can help you as long as you have good Wi-Fi signal or internet signal and an idea. We can help you. Ziggy, to you.
All you need is a Zigmobile and you can get a podcast. But aside from that is this. Keep your dreams wet, keep your humor dry, keep your kids out of recruiting stations, military recruiting stations, and off the laps of clerics. And your day will go a lot better. Won't get worse. It's got to get better. Thanks again for listening, everybody.
All right, until next week, we'll see you in the zone, guys.
Love you,
Thanks,
man.
Matt.
Love you. Okay.
Thank you, Matthew.
I love you.